The first look, when she sees you've moved on. That first look hits differently. Maybe it's your new post, a story of you laughing with friends, or that photo where you actually look happy again. She might scroll past it pretending not to care, but deep down, something shifts. It's not just about jealousy, it's about realization. For so long, she might have thought she had time to figure things out, to keep you in her back pocket while she focused on herself. But when she sees you smiling again, really smiling, it reminds her that time doesn't wait. There's this quiet panic that sets in. It's not the kind that makes her cry right away. It's the kind that makes her pause. She'll stare at your picture longer than she means to, wondering when your eyes stopped looking sad, when you started dressing better, when you began to glow in that same way she once made you feel. And for a brief moment, she'll feel something she didn't expect. The weight of being replaced, not by someone else necessarily, but by your peace.
When silence becomes louder than words. See, what people don't realize is that silence speaks volumes. When you finally stop trying, stop texting, stop showing that you still care, she notices. At first, she might think you're just playing games, trying to make her miss you. But as days turn into weeks and weeks stretch into months, that silence starts to echo. It's not just quiet, it's heavy. She starts to think about the things you used to do, how you'd check in just to ask if she ate, how you'd stay up late talking about nothing, how your name used to light up her phone. And now, nothing. That absence becomes the loudest message of all. You've moved on. And that's when it really begins to sink in. She realizes she's lost her audience, the person who used to care about her every small detail. And strangely, even if she was the one who walked away, the silence feels unfamiliar, because no matter what she told herself, deep down, she always thought you'd be there.
The moment it hits, you don't belong to her anymore. There's always that one moment when it truly hits her. Maybe she sees you with someone new or hears from a friend that you've been doing great. Whatever it is, it's like a quiet punch to the heart. That's the moment she realizes you're not hers anymore. And it's not about possession. It's about connection. Because for a while, no matter how far apart you were, she still felt a small string tying you together. But when that string breaks, when she feels you've actually let go, it's disorienting. It's like waking up and realizing the world kept spinning without her in it. And here's what's interesting. Psychologists say that seeing an ex move on triggers the same emotional part of the brain as physical pain. It's not just sadness. It's almost like withdrawal. Your absence feels like a missing piece of her daily life, and that's not easy to ignore.
When pride meets regret. Now this is where things get complicated. She might not show it, but pride and regret start to battle inside her. She tells herself she's fine, that it's all in the past. But deep down, a small part of her keeps asking, did I make a mistake? And it's not just about missing you, it's about missing how you made her feel. People often say, she doesn't miss you, she misses the attention. But that's not always true. Sometimes she really does miss you, the version of herself that existed when she was with you, because you saw her differently. You made her feel valued, even on her worst days. And when she realizes she no longer has that, pride suddenly feels like a poor trade for peace. But of course, she won't say it out loud. She'll keep her calm, keep her social media perfect, maybe even post something just to prove she's fine. Yet behind that small smile, there's a quiet ache, a feeling she can't quite post about.
Seeing you happy without her. One of the hardest things for her to see is you genuinely happy again. Not pretending, not rebounding, just peaceful. Because that's when it hits that your world didn't end when she left. You rebuilt it, and maybe even built it better. There's something powerful about watching someone you once hurt become stronger. It's humbling. She'll notice how you've started focusing on your goals, spending time with people who lift you up, maybe even glowing in a way that says, I've healed. And whether she admits it or not, that stings a little. Because For a long time, she might have told herself that you wouldn't move on without her, that she'd always be your what if. But seeing you happy proves her wrong. And that's the kind of truth that quietly keeps her up at night.
When she starts missing what she took for granted, here's where nostalgia creeps in. Out of nowhere, little things start reminding her of you. A song, a scent, a random inside joke that used to make her laugh. She might even catch herself smiling at old memories, until she remembers how it ended. She starts missing the comfort, the consistency, the way you always made her feel like she mattered. And it's not that she suddenly wants to go back, it's that she realizes how rare that kind of connection was. She might even reach out, just a casual, "Hey, how have you been?" But behind that short message lies a whole wave of thoughts she'll never admit. Because deep down, she's not just curious about how you're doing, she wants to know if you still think about her too. But by this point, if you've truly moved on, your tone is different. Calm, distant, unaffected. And that's when she really feels it. You're no longer waiting. And that quiet indifference, it speaks louder than any "I miss you" ever could.
Why, it hits her later than it hits you. It's strange how timing works after a breakup. Usually the one who leaves feels fine in the beginning. She has distractions, freedom, space. Meanwhile, you're the one processing, replaying, trying to understand what went wrong. But eventually, roles reverse. When you start to heal, when you stop looking back, that's when it starts to hit her. Because she's no longer seeing your sadness. She's seeing your strength, and it reminds her of everything she lost. Studies have shown that men tend to feel the breakup pain more intensely at first, while women often feel it later, once the emotional distance becomes real. And that delay makes it harder for her because by the time she feels the loss, you've already accepted it. You've already learned to live without her. So when she finally realizes she wants back what she let go, it's often too late.
When she tries to come back. Sometimes, after that realization, she might test the waters. A subtle text, a comment, a memory shared. It's her way of checking if the door's still open. But here's the thing. When you've truly moved on, the energy changes. You respond, maybe kindly, but there's no spark anymore, no longing, no chase. And that calm response tells her everything. It says you've healed, you've grown. You're not angry, you're just done. And that's what hurts her the most. Because for the first time, she sees you as someone who no longer needs her. That's when she finally understands that moving on doesn't mean forgetting, it means accepting what happened, learning from it, and finding peace where pain once lived.
The final realization. At the end of it all, when she sees you've moved on, she's not just looking at someone she used to love. She's looking at a version of you she'll never get back. The version that waited, forgave, and hoped. And while she might not say it out loud, deep down she knows she lost something real. And for you, that's not a victory, it's closure. Because moving on isn't about revenge or proving a point, it's about peace. It's about looking back without bitterness and forward without fear. So if you've reached that point where you finally moved on, where her name no longer stings and your heart finally feels light, remember this: she sees it, she feels it, and even if she never says it, part of her will always wonder how she let you slip away. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do after heartbreak is move on without making noise. Just live better, heal deeper, and let your silence say what words never could.